Scanning. Identity authorized. Welcome to the Secret Superhero Club Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Animation Station Podcast, your home for discussions and debates about all things animation. Each week, we'll rank, review, and revel in animated shows from yesterday and today, and from around the world. So grab your Acme slingshot, set your mobile suit to autopilot, and put on your mouse ears. The Animation Station Podcast begins now.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I watched 3 feature animated films this weekend. I watched Hunchback of Notre Dame, which was it's always just so dark. Every time I watch it, it's so dark.
Sanctuary.
It does have a redeeming ending, but man, it's bleak.
And John Cleese.
And then I watched The Lion King, which
speaking of dark,
I never think of that as dark and bleak until my wife walks in, and she's always just harping about how it's a downer, and it kind of is. Like it's not. There's no hope happy in it until the very end.
I mean, it's happy, carefree and lucky, and then
tragedy strikes, and it's all bad.
And then he comes back and he doubts himself throughout the whole entire movie.
Yeah. But then I ended on a upper, and I watched A Bug's Life by Pixar. It's so good. Actually, I didn't get to finish it. I'll probably finish it tonight. But I find that movie delightful. It was their second movie, and the progress they made in animation was leaps and bounds from Toy Story.
What was it? Oh, it was Toy Story.
And and I find that movie delightful. I think it's great. There's some amazing characters. It's a really neat story that's very different than most movie plots. I think it's really great, and it's got a good villain, and it's fun. And I put it on for inspiration while I was drawing a trading card of Hopper, voiced by the inimitable Kevin Spacey. He's so good at being dark.
It's not as good as Ants.
Yeah, that is a false statement.
It's so much better than Ants. Oh man,
yeah.
Freaking Woody Allen.
I know, Woody Allen, Sylvester Stallone.
Stallone's in there, gets his head ripped off by the termites.
I'm not opposed to the idea that they were going for in Ants, but it just
doesn't work.
It's not the animated movie for me. No, it really isn't. So, yeah. All right, you ready to get this episode going?
Let's go ahead and start this puppy.
What number are we on? Is this number 9?
Welcome, everybody, to episode 9
the
Animation Station Podcast.
9.
I am your host, Josh. With me is the other host,
Gavin.
Yes.
Excellent. Let's get it going, man.
First off, Gavin, do you have anything that happened in the week you want to talk about?
Basically, I've just been drawing a lot of Disney villains for my upcoming Halloween sale.
Yeah, you've been posting those.
Yeah, and so I've been really just living in Disney villain world lately. I'm having a blast with it, and so a lot of times when I'm drawing a specific character, I'll put on that movie while I'm drawing. So I've just been watching a lot of Disney lately, and enjoying it along the way.
Nice.
What about you?
Well, I want to preface this right now saying that we're recording on September 11th.
Oh, that's true.
We have some moves and everything going on.
Yeah, we're recording early because the next few weeks for Josh and I are going to be very busy. We're both we're neighbors right now, and we're both moving on the same day to be neighbors again in a new apartment complex.
See, I tricked Gavin into moving into the same apartment complex so we can split the U-Haul.
Oh, see, we thought we tricked you.
We tricked each other!
Yay!
But anyway, there was something that came through the pipeline earlier this week. Again, this is September 11th.
Right.
So
this episode will come out in late December, or late September,
yes.
Right?
This episode comes out December
the end of the
14th.
year.
Yeah, this will be
like the 26th
last week
or
of
something?
September. Yes.
Okay.
But there was a nice little bit of news on the anime side. Crunchyroll and Funimation did a merger.
Ooh.
So they didn't nobody acquired anybody, but they just kind of did a merger between the two companies.
Okay.
Where Crunchyroll, because right now both Funimation and Crunchyroll stream anime from Japan. Crunchyroll is well known for their subs of all the different anime, and Funimation is more known for their dubbing of the anime.
Oh.
So basically, what I was able to pick apart from the different sites that I read was Crunchyroll is going to not exclusively, but primarily going to get all the subs that are coming in from Japan.
So they're basically the direct import store.
Correct.
Okay.
Because right now they're both kind of,
a little of both.
A little of both. Because Funimation will get some, and then they'll sub them, and then dub them, and then put them out.
Okay.
Then Crunchyroll will do the same thing.
Do they also rub them and scrub them?
Why? Why would you do that?
Come on, man. The rhymes. They were fun. Keep going. What's Funimation going to do?
So what Funimation is going to do is they're primarily just going to do the dubs.
Okay.
Which I think is great because dubs are Funimation's strong suit. Especially, since the late 2000s, it really started to pick up because you can go back and listen to old dubs that even Funimation did, and they're really kind of bad. But we go into some of the newer stuff, and they actually get quality actors that know what they're doing and that are trained instead of just getting Joe Blow off the streets, come in and read some lines of dialogue. So that's what Funimation's going to be doing, primarily the dubs, which I think is great. Which means basically it means we're going to get a lot more dubs out of Funimation of these newer shows that Funimation usually doesn't have. That would usually go like Sentai or NIS, somebody like that.
Okay, so what does this mean for our listeners out there who are either subscribed to Crunchyroll or Funimation? Does this increase the library of material for them? What does it exactly do for the consumers?
Consumer-wise, there's still two different subscriptions. They're not, merging into one subscription where you can pay $7.99 and watch Crunchyroll all you want and Funimation all you want.
Okay.
So right now, with Crunchyroll, you're getting more subs than they currently had in their catalog.
Okay.
So they're getting more inventory that way. Whereas on the Funimation end, they're getting more anime of some shows that already have been subbed by Crunchyroll. They're getting all of those rights to dub those. So the Funimation catalog is also increasing.
Okay.
So that's the main thing.
But are they getting everything from the other site, or is it just a selection?
It's not everything right now. Again, this is early on. I mean, probably
so they're kind of
October,
building
November,
toward.
They'll probably get more.
Okay.
But as of right now, there's a select list of what Funimation was sending over to Crunchyroll and what Crunchyroll was sending over to Funimation.
Okay.
But so
that's
hopefully
very cool.
in the later months we'll actually get some, especially because we're about to be into the winter 2016 simulcast schedule.
Okay.
So that means Crunchyroll is going to get all those simulcasts and sub all of them, and then usually about a week to 2 weeks later, Funimation will more than likely start putting out the dubs of those same episodes.
Wow, that's a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's exciting for anime fans.
Very much so.
That brings a lot of new material to their fingertips. They can consume a lot more of it now. And it's exciting for me because it's a pool that I haven't dipped my toe into enough, and I'd really like to, be able to explore that a little bit more. So now you actually heard some news about Netflix as well regarding Disney, right?
Yeah.
So what do we know about that so far? I feel like it's a little nebulous at this point.
Yeah, Netflix is paying Disney. I wrote it down. I forgot how much it was. It was
a lot of money, I'm sure.
It was an absurd amount of money.
Are we talking millions?
Millions of dollars.
Tens of millions? Hundreds of millions?
So for whatever, I want to say 30 million. I could be wrong on that. It may be like 10 or something. But there's a large sum of money that Netflix is paying Disney per year to basically have the exclusive streaming rights to Disney titles, 2016 and onward.
Right. So it's really just going to be current Disney movies,
They'll
things
probably
that
throw
come
older
out
stuff,
in
later on down the road, but right now
right.
it's
But
just
the
current.
intent really is just okay. The things that are out in the theaters now, when they end their theatrical run, they'll be available for streaming.
Correct. Yeah, 3 months after, like according to what I read,
Mm-hmm.
3 months after it hits theaters,
Mm-hmm.
it'll be available on Netflix.
So does that mean very shortly we'll have Finding Dory on Netflix?
Mhm.
Wow, that's impressive.
Now,
That's really cool.
The thing with that was it said September when everything was going to launch.
And we haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, and we're dating this, so I mean,
By the time this comes
September
out,
12th, so tomorrow we'll turn around and be like, the catalog!
Yeah.
But yeah, they haven't released any sort of actual set street date.
Right.
But September.
It basically seems like they've released, okay, this is the intent of what we're going to do, and it's going to start in September, but that's the limit of the details they've released. But anyway, it sounds exciting because they're also going to do Pixar. They're doing Disney, Pixar, Marvel. Are they doing LucasArts?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, that would be impressive if they did that too.
If they do LucasArts, that would be crazy.
You'd think, I don't think they will, because the price tag would have to go up for that.
Well, I mean, if they're paying $30 million a year...
Yeah, that doesn't seem that much to me.
I think that sounds
like
a lot.
To allow them to stream it so people can watch their movies for free without buying it. I mean, Disney is so all about their DVD sales. They try every trick in the book to make their things so exclusive that you have to pay top dollar to get their stuff all the time.
They're still gonna sell their DVDs. I don't think they're.
Well, I'm gonna buy them all.
Exactly. I don't think they're gonna take any sort of hit with
that
DVD
may be
or
true.
Blu-ray sales.
That may be true.
I mean, honestly, what this will do is, oh hey, this extra $30 million, you can just take all that. Want to build a new park somewhere? You got $30 million.
$30 million. Oh, Josh Kane, you're so
No.
naive.
I'm saying $30 million a year.
No, I get it.
So I mean,
get it. That's a lot.
You want to start building a park?
Yeah.
5 years from now, you'll have a nice park.
That's possible. Yeah. I mean, who knows what they're going to do with that money?
Do
but
add-ons to the park.
My question.
Gotta pay for that Star Wars land.
Absolutely. You gotta keep building, keep reimagining the park. That's what Walt wanted. But my question is going to be, how long are these going to be on Netflix? Because we've all been in the situation where we're watching, say, a television series, and there's 8 seasons of it, and you're on season 4, and all of a sudden that notice pops up that says, oh, this will no longer be available in 3 weeks. And you're thinking, well, great, I'm never going to get through it in 3 weeks. So I wonder if there's going to be an expiration date on these things, because most things they have to buy the license, and there's a limit to that time frame. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I think it's a good move. I think it's smart on Disney's part, because they have, in a lot of ways, in the last few years, really taken a hit, I feel, as far as looking like they're a little too exclusive, and they don't make their stuff available enough. So I think it's a good move.
Now here's the kicker. If Disney will get off their booties and actually start putting their Disney cartoons on Netflix.
I agree with this wholeheartedly.
You start throwing some Star, some Gravity Falls. Because Gravity Falls right now, I think the only place that you can watch it is Hulu.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get it on Prime, but you got to pay for it.
Well, even older ones, like you always mention Kim Possible, even
Emperor's
things
New School, Timon and Pumbaa.
Well, even the old school stuff like DuckTales and Rescue Rangers.
Throw that stuff on there.
Absolutely,
I want to watch Hannah Montana. I can't watch Hannah Montana.
Shoot.
That was Disney, right?
It was.
Okay, I can't watch Hannah Montana. What if I want to watch Wizards of Waverly Place? I can't watch it. It's nowhere.
I know, right?
I need my Selena Gomez fix.
Terrible. I mean, it's terrible that we can't watch it. It's not a terrible show. I've never seen it.
Don't worry. I knew you weren't saying it was a terrible show.
Excellent.
But one of the DeLuise brothers is in there. The one that dates Sam.
One of the who brothers?
The DeLuise.
I don't know who these people are.
Forget it.
Okay. Moving on.
Gavin, this was your pick this week.
It was my pick this week, and we decided to go deep into the Disney vault this time. We're going all the way back to the beginning of the 1960s.
So Gavin was 10 years old.
Hilarious. We're going back to 1961's 101 Dalmatians.
Bark, bark, bark.
Bark, 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 ruff, ruff, woof, woof. It was an interesting turning point in the world of Disney animation. And I just want to give a little bit of background about this movie. So the context of the Walt Disney Studio in the early 60s was basically they were coming off a loser, which was Sleeping Beauty. Today, it's hard to imagine that Sleeping Beauty was a failure, but it was a financial failure for them. It was, to date, the most expensive animated movie ever made, and they did not make their money back on it in the original release. And it was something that was so impactful for the studio that they actually considered shutting down the animation department at that point. Because if you know anything about Walt, at a certain point, he felt like he had accomplished what he wanted to accomplish with the world of animation. And then he felt like he accomplished what he wanted to accomplish with the world of theme parks. And his focus in the late 50s and the first half of the 60s until he died in 66 was on live action. And it was his kind of crowning achievement that he created Mary Poppins. And so he was not as involved in the animation process at this point. So there was a very real chance that the animation department would get shut down. But, you know, things persisted, and a lot of it is due to the fact that he personally wanted 101 Dalmatians to be created because he had read the novel by Dodie Smith shortly after it came out. It came out in 56. I think he read it in 57.
I had no idea it was a novel.
Yeah, it was a children's novel. And he bought the rights immediately. He knew he wanted it to be a movie. And, you know, so I think because of that, this movie still got made. And it, in a lot of ways, saved the animation department because it was a financial success. Now, there's some very interesting things about this movie. But before we move into the actual movie, I want to mention that Sleeping Beauty, because of the failure that they saw in it, they didn't do another fairy tale for 30 years. It wasn't until 1989 with Little Mermaid that they went back to the fairy tale genre. Well, think about it. There's no fairy tales between Sleeping Beauty and Little Mermaid. There's none.
You're right. There is a gap of princesses.
So Sleeping Beauty made an indelible mark on the Disney canon, and we think back on it today as this wonderful, beautiful masterpiece that is beloved and just so well known and so revered. But at the time, it was kind of a stinker. Yeah, it kind of was. So anyway, moving into 101 Dalmatians, they knew they had to find ways to make animated movies cheaper because the cost of production kept going up and up and up. And, you know, it just was becoming hard to make them financially viable vehicles for the studio, where the live action stuff was relatively cheap and they were having wild success with it. So the genius of iWorks, who created so many of the animation processes which put Disney on the map and which made their stuff so much better than everybody else, came up with a new process. And this new process saved them tons of money. And basically, he was working with Xerox technology. So we're talking photocopier type technology, where he was able to figure out a way to, using Xerox technology, get the hand-drawn pieces of paper and print those directly on the animation cells so that they didn't have to have a whole ink department re-inking every cell for every drawing. And, I mean, it's estimated that they brought in the production cost at half what it would have been for this movie. And just in the spots alone, they saved so much money. Interesting fact, there's almost 6.5 million spots in 101 Dalmatians.
But there's only 101 doggies.
Yeah, I know, but there's a lot of spots. There's a lot of spots. Anyway, what it did is it created a very specific look, because when you're drawing on paper with pencil, you have some graininess, and you have, you know, when you have a stroke, it may fade in its intensity because, you know, the pressure of the hand upon the paper is lighter or heavier. And so it created a really sketchy style. And Walt is on record as letting the studio know that he did not like this style. But again, going back to what I was saying earlier, he wasn't as invested in the animation process as he had been in the past. He was more interested in the live action things. And yeah, there's the cost effectiveness of it. So anyway, it ends up changing the style and look of Disney films for the next 10 to 20 years. You know, we think of Jungle Book and Robin Hood, and they all have this kind of sketchy, really pencil-y or charcoal-y look to the outlines of everything. And it's because of this Xerox technology that Iwerks found out how to incorporate into animation cells. The guy was a genius. He was in like a mechanical engineering process genius, and he came up with so many things like this. But anyway, it lends itself to a specific style, and they built the design of this movie around that kind of sketchy look. And I think it's quite wonderful because it looks like the illustrated pages of a children's book coming to life. You know, every scene of the little neighborhood they live in London just looks like it's straight out of a sweet little illustrated book for kids. And, you know, a lot of the backgrounds in the scenes, like where there's a lamp and a clock and a bookshelf, they just look so sketchy, and then the colors are just laid in blocks. And I just find it so wonderful. And I understand the hesitation that Walt had from that crisp, clean, beautifully inked work that represented the catalog prior to that. But at some point you have to grow and evolve and you know, change as you know, an artistic company, or else it just becomes stagnant. So this was probably a big gamble, but I feel like it really paid off. And financially it did. It was a success from day one.
Was this movie rushed?
It was not rushed. It was actually...
Okay. Because the only reason I ask is because you can kind of see where lines aren't really... It looks like they're like drawn like haphazardly, like outside the line stuff. It looks like you can kind of see like where they started drawing the puppies, like the shapes of their head. You can kind of see circles sometimes where they started. Is that just because this was the first use of this Xerox process? It is, and part of this process is they skip the cleanup step. You know, there's a whole there's a role in animation for cleanup artists and what they call tweeners or in-betweeners, where they fill in all the sketches between the major poses of the lead animators. And then there's cleanup people who clean up the actual line work and things like that. And what they were doing is they were finding ways to just go right to the spontaneity of the original animators' drawings, taking that directly from paper to cell. And so, yeah, there's some scenes where you even see the line down the center of their face or across the eyes where they're mapping the face. And it's really interesting because it's a bold choice to make. Well, see, here's the thing. I love that. I think it's really cool, too. It's so nice. It's so cool. I really, really like that. Mm-hmm. There is one thing that... It's not this movie's fault, because every animation, like back in the day, did this. Mm-hmm. But you have that part where it's a completely drawn backdrop. And then there's the part that's going to move. Looks a little different. Looks different. I agree. I've always hated that. I understand limitations of the time, but whenever I see it, I'm just like, well, that's going to move. I wonder what's going to happen there. It never has quite the same textures, everything. I agree. It's one thing that is solved by computer animation. Mm-hmm. This one thing that 2D never could do, where you have an element in the background like a door, you know, and it's going to be the thing that moves in the background. It doesn't look like the door frame in the wall. It looks like it's a cartoon stuck on a wall. But sometimes they do that. Like I know there's some movies that have that where it looks like the wall, and then that opens, and it's like, what? That door opened. Was that supposed? Like when we watched Princess Mononoke, there's a rock, just random rock that I'm like, oh, that rock's gonna move. Doesn't move. It's just drawn that way. Okay. And it's like, why is that rock drawn like that? Is that rock supposed to move? So things like that are probably on the same cell as the things that are moving, but
it's not used as a moving object. That's what I would guess.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's really. I mean, not the.
Well,
I like the drawing.
The cool
part, the
thing is
sketching.
that, in a style like 101 Dalmatians, I feel like that problem is less apparent because most of the environment looks so sketchy and illustrative anyway that it's less of a problem. But so the style of this, like I said, it's very much like a children's book illustration just come to life, and I think it really works. I love the setting, I love the color palette, and I just think the style is really neat, and it points the direction towards so many other great things to come. They only released 3 animated features in the entire 1960s. That's crazy to me, but that's all they did.
So what was it?
And a lot of it was
White...
no, the 60s.
Oh, sorry, 60s. So it had been
it started with
Jungle
this,
Book,
and in between was Sword in the Stone in 63. So, that's all they did in the 60s. They did 5 or 6 in the 70s, and then a handful in the 80s, and then in the 90s, of course, it exploded again. But the 60s is their most anemic decade as far as animation goes. They were more focused on things like Mary Poppins, and then after Walt died in 66, there was a lot of question about, what the company was going to do at all after that. So it's understandable, but I think this one is a very important film that points the way to a lot of other stylistic choices made over the next couple decades, and some of my favorite movies were made in the 60s and 70s, so it's very good. So, Josh, I've talked ad nauseum. What do you like about 101 Dalmatians?
Well, like I said, I like the art style. I like the drawing bits, like the sketching outlines. I thought that was really good. The story, Cruella de Vil's a freaking crazy woman.
She is a maniac.
Scary.
Yes. Great villain.
I like the dogs. All of the voices in this movie, like the voice cast for this, really good. Like Pongo and Purdy.
Incredible voice acting. I totally agree.
John is his name, right?
What's
the pet's name?
Roger.
Roger. Yeah, like
it's
those
Roger
two,
and Anita.
John. But yeah, those they're great. Cruella's great. Jasper and Horace.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Great.
I love them.
Oh, they're so good. All the puppies. I do like how they gave the boy dogs, the boy puppies, red collars.
Yeah.
And the girl puppies got blue collars.
Yeah, all the girls had blue.
Was a cute little touch.
I thought that was neat too.
There was some bits that I thought were a little bit weird because like sometimes the collars would blink in and out of existence.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, and then sometimes there'd be like way more than 15 puppies with collars. It's like, okay.
I imagine it would get hard to keep track of 99 puppies once they, all meet up together.
Yeah.
Like that would just be an insurmountable task to make sure that every single one was accounted for, and by the animators. I mean, let alone Pongo and Purdy. The animators just would have. That was a monumental task, and they did a fantastic job. But I wasn't paying close enough attention to those details to see that, but I totally believe you because, of course, that's going to happen.
Yeah, I liked Lucky, because I liked it. He had the little
it's a horseshoe facing up, so it was Lucky.
So yeah, we had Lucky, and there was Rolly, and Chance.
Yeah, there's a bunch of names, but they only mention them like once each.
The only female, like the only girl puppy that we get is Penny, and that's just because one of the witches, the good witches, the fairies from Sleeping Beauty, who plays the nanny.
Oh,
totally her.
Yeah, she does look very much like Flora, Fauna, and or Merryweather.
Yeah.
Indeed. She's a cute
little
nanny,
Penny?
though.
And it's like, oh, okay, that dog's name's Penny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And they were watching what's the
show that they're watching?
Dash?
It wasn't Dash. It was what is he called? Man. It's a great show. It's like a western, and he's chasing down this bandit through the desert. Oh man, I can't remember what it's called.
I'm not even gonna try to look it up.
And then you see the awesome commercial for Canine Crunchies. It's great.
Can't do it.
It's hilarious. Think about, you're Roger and Anita.
Yes.
Okay? You've got 2 dogs.
By the way, Roger and Anita totally thieves.
What do you mean?
Because Cruella paid for
No, she
a
didn't.
bunch of the one dog said, "Whip, I'm painful." So technically, Roger and Anita are thieves.
No, they're thieves in the same sense that Robin Hood's a thief. They're good people. Anyway, think about having to name 84
other puppies. Spot.
Yeah.
Spotty. Spotland.
Spotastic.
Spot Trisha. You know?
It could go on and on and on.
Yeah.
I don't envy them for that. So let's talk about anything we found that this movie might be lacking or room for improvement. What do you feel like is, maybe some limitations to this film?
Well, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the whole bit with the collars, that bothered me.
Yeah.
The collars bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a bunch of the puppies running through, they all look the exact same.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
they
couldn't give individual looks to every single puppy, though.
But they do get a really good job of giving individual
the
looks
15,
for puppies.
The 15 original puppies, they do.
And then we meet those other two, and they when the Sergeant, what's the cat's name?
Oh gosh, Tibbs. Yeah,
Tibbs.
He's so great.
When Tibbs comes in, totally. If they recast that, totally. I said his name earlier, Martin Freeman.
Yeah.
It's like he sounds like Martin Freeman.
He kind of does. Yeah.
When we see some shots, like when there's not like 100 puppies in it, when there's like 5 or 6 puppies in one shot, they give them individual details. Like one of them will have like a black ear.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Like, but then when it's
panned out, it's basically the same puppy over and over again. Yeah,
that's my only problem with it. Nowadays,
and that's a small thing.
Yeah, exactly. That nowadays you can do that easy with a computer program. Just go pop, 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 pop.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, back then, I love what they did. They put a lot of puppies in one little shot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's my really only complaint was the collars and the lack of puppy differentiation.
There you go. Good job,
Words
Josh.
are hard.
That's awesome. Yeah, I find very little lacking in this movie. I find that.
Oh, sorry, real quick. The lack of resolution with what the heck happened to Cruella.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna. That's exactly what I was gonna say. The fact that she just crashes in the snow, but she's gonna come right back after them. We all know that, so we kind of want to see her locked up or something at the end. Like she's doing this devious thing and dog napping, which is apparently newspaper worthy in old time London, but now. We don't know what she's up to. So I agree. I wish there was a little bit of resolution where she is concerned, or a sequel. Know
what Disney should do? 2020. 102 down. No, they already did 102.
I think they did they did. Made for TV or straight to DVD one.
101 Dalmatians, the sequel.
Yeah.
I don't know what you name
See, it's weird because
the puppening.
Like I pretty much don't count any of the straight to DVD movies as part of the canon story. No. So even though they did technically do a sequel to this, it doesn't really exist for me.
They had a TV show that
came
out. Yeah, it was like right after the live action ones came out. Like 101 and 102 Dalmatians.
Wait, they did 2 live action ones?
Yes. There was 101 Dalmatians.
I knew they did
and then
one.
102 Dalmatians. I don't know if they did a
Was
third
Glenn
one.
Close in both of those?
I don't know.
Huh.
I know she's the first one. I never saw the second one.
I never saw either of them.
The second one they brought up like an all-white albino Dalmatian in there, which is just a dog. But yeah, they brought that one in there. And then I think they did a show on Disney. The only reason I know that is because Tara Strong played a chicken.
Interesting.
And yeah, that's all I know about that show.
Wow. I didn't know any of that existed. The 102s or the show.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is bad.
Interesting.
Bad show.
All right. Well, okay, so let's talk about like where this sits in as far as our recommendations and how we would rate this movie.
I don't know why you wouldn't watch this movie.
Yeah,
Like, I
it's
don't, I
good
don't know
for
how you
everybody,
haven't-
right?
It's just like I don't know how you haven't seen this movie.
Do you
This
feel
is-
like there are any parts that would be too intense for little kids? Because I really don't. I think it's kind of intense,
I
but
don't think they would get.
there's enough humor in every moment.
Yeah, I don't think they would get some of the dialogue between Jasper and Horace, because
Oh,
some of that
sure.
stuff is pretty.
Sure.
Like, you could watch Top Gear or old Top Gear, not the one with Matt LeBlanc.
Yeah, no.
Who watches that
Exactly.
hot street trash? But yeah, I mean, if you watch some of that, and like if you watch any sort of like British, or sorry, not British, English sort of,
TV
anything
show.
on the BBC,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have, you're gonna have talk like that. Heck,
Right.
even Harry Potter. They say bloody a couple times, and they say bloody in this one too. So
Do they say bloody? They say bloomin'.
They say bloomin'. I think he says bloody
I don't think
once.
they say bloody.
He also says
He
something when they're
does
chasing
say
him through
Bub's
the
your
house.
uncle, which I like.
Bub's your uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the. I don't think kids would catch any of it.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I think this is a wonderful movie for people of all ages. I would
Dalmatian.
recommend it to anybody. I think it's a major movie in the Disney catalog, and I only rediscovered it last year, having not seen it since I was a little kid. So I'd forgotten most about it. I remembered liking it to some degree when I was a kid, but when I rewatched it as an adult last year for the first time, it blew me away. I think it's amazing. It's a
really
beautiful
good movie.
film. The entire segment of the Twilight Bark and the tension involved in that, and you're just hoping this message gets through. They play that so well. The pacing, the characters that the Bark goes through along the way, it's like this crazy, awesome community that comes together. It's like, this is important. We need to pass this message along. It's a really hopeful kind of thing, and I just think it's really delightful and wonderful.
is this the first Disney movie with Easter eggs?
It might be. I can't say definitively. It's the earliest one I know of, and the Easter eggs you're referring to are all of the Lady and the Tramp characters that show up during the Twilight Bark. We see Laddie, we see Peg, we see Lady, we see Tramp. I think it was just those four.
Yeah.
But they all show up during that scene, and it's just kind of a neat little Easter egg along the way. And I think it might be the earliest.
Yeah,
I'd be interested to research that and let everybody know on the next episode.
Like, because I know Pongo and Roger show up in
Oliver and Company, right?
and Company,
Yeah.
and I think so does Laddie.
Does he?
Yeah, there's a little black Scotty dog there
Okay.
with the collar and everything. So
Okay.
I think he's in there too.
Is he actually, or is he just a terrier?
It could just be a Scotty dog.
Okay.
Could be a Scottish Terrier. I don't know.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's got a fun little Easter egg in there, but I don't know if it's the first. It's definitely not the last, because we know there's a long tradition of Disney Easter eggs,
Were there any in Zootopia?
especially once Pixar starts. Oh my gosh,
Were there any in
Zootopia was
Zootopia?
all Easter eggs.
Just go to
Which
Duke
was-
Weasel and he's like, look at all my DVDs.
It was delightful as all get out. I love Zootopia. Well, is it time for top 5?
Well, we should give this our wonderful.
Oh yeah,
ranking
let's
list first.
rate it first.
So
Yeah,
would-
absolutely.
Out of Jiminy Crickets, how many would you give this?
Ooh,
little
me
Gabby?
first this time. Okay, so out of 5 Jiminy Crickets, I would give 101 Dalmatians a solid 4,
I like it.
which is high praise in my book. If you've listened to earlier episodes, you know that's high praise.
That's high praise.
High praise it is. Josh Kane, what is your ranking scale this time?
I'm gonna give this movie 4 Pongos out of 5.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah. Like I said, my only problem was, again, it's the limitations of the time.
Mm-hmm.
My complaint. That's the only reason this isn't a 5.
Yeah,
If they would've-
the thing that stands out to me that you may be thinking of as well is when she crashes in that ravine,
Yeah,
and it's
that
the
ravine's
snow.
so bad.
The snow looks so weird when she's pulling out of it, because they're trying to animate all the snow being pushed out of the way by that car, and it does look really weird.
Yeah.
I agree.
But little bit of consolation when they're running across the bridge that you pointed out and did a little rewind. The way that water looks, where it looks like they just took some like glitter sparkles and kind of just put them in some water and just like move the lights around. It was really nice.
If you guys are listening to this episode and you own 101 Dalmatians, go to the scene where Pongo and Purdy are just leaving on their journey to go find the puppies.
Yeah, when
they're with the Great Dane.
Like, I'll take you as far as...
Yeah, they go across this bridge. They go to Camden Road is where they go, and then he sends them off from there. But along the way, they go across this bridge, and right leading into that scene, they're showing the water and a couple of boats, and they pan up to the bridge. But that scene with the water and the light from those boats sparkling off the water is pure animation magic. I love that scene. I rewinded it for Josh so that we could just see it again. It's a beautiful little touch of animation magic, and I just love it. So yeah, look for that scene. It's one of my favorites.
Fun fact.
Okay.
Looking this up, because I think they were going to Kent, right? Was it Kent?
I don't remember. It's in the country.
We'll say it's Kent. But apparently, from Camden Road in London, I just did Kent because I could be completely wrong. 47.32 miles. So
I believe that. They were on a freaking journey. And I feel like the weight of that journey is really portrayed well in the movie.
Yes.
I think it's delightful, the way that they give you all of that intensity and the length of that journey, and it's so good. 4 out of 5 Jiminy Crickets.
Yes.
Solid. All right. Time to do battle.
How come you can use all right and I can't use all right?
Yeah, I mean, you can use all right.
All right. No.
All righty then.
All right. No. Okay, let's go ahead and kick off our top 5.
Bring it.
And now for another top 5.
Yes, Josh Kane, are you ready to do Battle in the Ring?
I am ready to do Battle in the Ring.
Excellent.
Just like Apollo Creed and Hulk Hogan, and they didn't actually fight
Apollo Creed, Hulk Hogan was one of the most historic fights ever. You're right, Josh Kane.
I hate you to death.
So what are we ranking today?
We are ranking our top 5 animated cats.
Yes. So to kind of contrast with all of the dogs we just watched, we're going to rank some cats because we like kitty cats.
And I messed up.
You messed up.
We had originally planned on just doing Disney cats.
And then Josh went crazy.
I forgot about that and did all cats.
So we're going to rank all animated cats.
Yes.
So do you have any that are Disney?
I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay, don't spoil it. Just go. What's your number 5?
My number 5, from the wonderful little show called Digimon Digital Monsters.
My gosh, you're so predictable.
I'm going to do Gatomon.
Gatomon?
Gatomon.
So like Spanish cat.
Yeah.
Mon.
Exactly.
Cat monster.
Cat monster.
So what is Gatomon?
Gatomon is awesome. Gatomon is a white cat, but has these like dragon-esque like glove paws on her hands. So she like uses them, and she has a cool little ring thing on her tail, and she turns into an angel.
Wow.
Yeah, she digivolves from Gatomon to Angelomon.
Digivolve?
We talked about this last time, a couple times
ago. It didn't sink in, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they digivolve.
Okay.
It's a digivolution.
Wow. I see, I'm just so unfamiliar with the world of Digimon.
Well, that's your fault.
It is my fault, because
we may watch the Digimon
have not partaken on purpose.
Except we'll probably stop the Digimon movie halfway through, because the other part where it's like Davis and those losers, they suck.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. All right, my number 5. Have you ever seen the movie Open Season? You probably haven't.
Is that the one with the bear?
The bear and the deer.
Oh, yeah. No.
Okay. Well, they did a sequel called Open Season 2.
No, go figure.
Where...
You joshing me right now? You joshing me?
They kind of steer it towards this storyline that's all about pets. And so...
Like you do.
My number 5 is the most amazingly messed up freaked out looking cat ever in the world of animation. His name is Roger. And for anybody that has seen Open Season 2, you know exactly who I'm talking about. He is one messed up looking cat. He's got a missing fang tooth. What are they? Well, it's not a canine, but what do they call the tooth?
Feline.
Feline tooth? Is that what it's called? I don't know.
It's called a canine.
Okay. And he's got 2 different colored eyes. He's skinny as all get out, and he has a weird gait in his walk. It's kind of a lopsided sideways walk that he has. And he can't keep his tongue in his mouth, and he speaks with a hilarious voice.
Is he Buscemi?
No, it's not Buscemi.
Oh.
It's actually the animator who created him voices him as well, because he came up with this hilarious voice for him.
I just googled his picture, and he's so scary looking.
Oh my gosh, he's hilarious. And he says stuff like, Stanley, old buddy, it's been ages. He's hilarious. He's one of my favorite characters of all time. It's a silly, frivolous movie, but it's delightful, and Roger makes it. He is the greatest thing in that movie. So anybody out there who knows what I'm talking about, shout me out. Support me. Roger. What's your number 4, Josh?
My number 4, we're going to go straight from Thundera.
What?
And we're going to choose... I couldn't choose just one, because they're a group. I chose the Thundercats.
You chose a group?
I chose the Thundercats.
Oh,
I chose
wow.
Lion-O, Chitara, Tigra, Panthro, Wily Cat, and you can't forget Snarf.
Oh my
Snarf.
gosh. That's a bold pick, Josh Kane. Have you seen all of that series?
I got to the part where I think Lion-O fell in love with a woman or some chick, but then I kind of stopped. It was weird. Yeah,
I only watched that.
They did a newer season. Sorry, I'll get back to it.
Oh, really?
They did a newer season. I want to say 2012.
Wow, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, Cartoon Network did it, and it had Will Friedle in it. But they made them completely new and everything, and it was really, really good. It's a really good show.
Like new art direction?
New art direction, style, really? Everything. They were more anime-esque.
Of course.
Type. It was so good. Canceled it. Because they suck.
I'm sorry, Josh.
People don't know. Sorry, what you were saying?
Well, I was just going to say, I do know the Thundercats because I watched them rather passively as a kid. I remember when they were on TV. And I thought they were neat, but I don't have really any memory of what the synopsis is of that show or the point of the Thundercats. They're some sort of warriors or something, but I don't remember anything about it. Yeah, I do like the design of those characters. They're really cool looking.
Such a guitar in her
really
hair.
Cool. And that's a lot of the reason I like cat characters, because I think the design of cat characters is often much more compelling to me than dog characters.
Yes.
And a lot of that speaks to real life. Is I'm not a dog person. I'm not a pet person, really. But
that's why there are no pets here.
I do exist around cats much better than I exist around dogs. So there may be something to that. Yeah. But
so you couldn't deal with 101 puppies?
No.
Oh, sorry, 99 puppies and 2 adult dogs.
No. I couldn't deal with one, let alone 101. But I've always liked, when we're talking about wild animals, I've always loved tigers and cheetahs and panthers and things like that. I find them very beautiful and fascinating. So, I don't know. I like cats better than dogs. I'm just going to put it out there.
Yes. So, yeah, Thundercats.
Good pick. That's kind of cheating, but good pick.
No, they're a group.
Yeah, you're already at 6, 7. How many are you at right now? 7, right? Because there's 6 of them.
3, 4. Yeah, we won't count Snarf. Snarf sucks. So, there's 6. Yeah, I'm at 7.
Let's move on to number 4. Let's move on. So I'm going back to the Disney catalog.
No.
One of the most iconic animated cats ever.
Hold on, you better not put him down there.
What? Who?
No, go ahead, say it.
Yeah. From Alice in Wonderland,
okay, good.
The Cheshire Cat.
Okay, no, okay.
Great cat, zany as all get out, and quite mad. And we're talking about from the 1951 animated film, not from the 2000 whatever Tim Burton train wreck, which I did not like. The Cheshire Cat in that.
You didn't like the Jabberwocky scene?
Oh, be quiet. The Cheshire Cat was quite well animated. I did like the look of him, but that movie was not my bag. I don't want to go down that road. Alice in Wonderland is a fantastic film. Shockingly not a success in its time, but a wonderful avant-garde movie based on a very avant-garde novel. And the Cheshire Cat is one of the most iconic characters in that movie, and I think he deserves to be on the top 5 of everybody's animated cat list.
My number 3. We're going to dive into the realm of anime.
Oh my gosh.
I know, crazy, right? We haven't done
I'm
any
going
of
to
that yet.
fall out of my seat.
We're going to go Kilala from Inuyasha.
Kilala. Okay.
But
never heard of this cat. This is how this is going to go every episode. You're going to bring characters that I've never heard of.
That's not my fault, dude.
I mean, it's not your fault, but it's just, you go to a different map.
Isn't she adorable?
She is really cute.
She's
Josh is showing me a
super
picture
cute.
right now on his phone, and that's a cute cat. So what about this cat?
She's really cool because she's Sango's little faithful little pet.
Mm-hmm.
She flies because she actually grows. She grows into a bigger cat.
Whoa! With saber-tooth fangs.
Yeah, she transforms.
And 2 tails.
She transforms into Big Kilala.
So does she fight things?
Yep. Yeah, dude, she's a freaking saber-tooth tiger. She bites
Vicious.
things. She bites things.
Wait,
She flies
go back
around.
to the flying.
She flies. She breathes fire.
Wow,
She's like
dragon
the best
cat.
cat. Yeah.
So what is this flying? Is
she
she just hover, or does she actually fly like Superman?
Yeah, she just flies like Superman.
Really?
Yeah. They're like, we need to be able to get some of these characters that can't like run really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because in Inuyasha, he's a half demon. So I mean, he's like a half like of a dog demon. So he can like run really fast, jump really high.
Can he fly?
No, he can't. Like I said, he can run really fast and he can jump really
Oh,
high.
okay.
But so it kind of is like he kind of flies, kind of like Superboy and Young
See,
Justice, who can't really fly. But
you mentioned
really
that. I always thought that was funny about. I'm going to tangent here for a second.
Sure.
Superman. They always talk about how he can leap tall buildings in a single bound. It's like, no, duh, he can fly.
Well, I think the old Superman, I don't think he could fly.
Really? He started out without flying powers?
Because I mean, that's how Superboy, like when we first start, I think when we first meet Superboy and like Young Justice and everything like that, he can't fly. He can jump. So he jumps and it, propels him in the air for a long period of time.
But Superboy isn't Superman.
Yeah, but he's a clone of Superman.
Okay. So are you saying like back when
Lex.
Superman originated, which was like, what, the 20s?
Like
a long time ago, right?
I don't think he could fly. I don't think
he could only just leap really high?
I don't think that's because otherwise like he can leap tall buildings in a single bound. I mean,
so they rewrote the book when they gave him flying powers.
I mean, yeah, it's also the 20s. I mean, this is the first time that we have anything like this.
Because he's the first, right? The original like comic book superhero.
There's probably more comic books, but he's definitely the first that's of the DC that's the most popular.
Huh. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny that he can leap tall buildings, but he can fly.
Yeah, he just leaps tall buildings.
Okay.
But yeah, that's Inuyasha. Inuyasha leaps tall buildings.
Wow.
Yeah, Kilala, they're like, we have to figure out some way to make these characters travel distances really fast. And so they're like, okay, we can fit 3 people on the back, or usually 2 people, because Inuyasha usually carries Kagome. But piggyback ride.
Wait, on the back of the cat?
No, yeah, like Moroku and Sango.
How big is this cat?
Dude, it is a saber-toothed tiger.
Oh, so he grows in size.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's a little baby, and then she grows in size into the saber-toothed tiger when they need her to, and then she just shrinks back.
Awesome.
Yep.
Nice.
She's great. She's a great cat.
That's an epic cat right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
What about you, Gavin? What you got for your number 3?
Number 3. I'm staying with Disney on this one.
No.
One of my all-time favorite villains. I'm going with Scar from The Lion King.
Nice.
What a great character, right? This character is so dark and so devious and has a army of hyenas at his beck and call, and he perpetrates true evil upon the pride, and he is just also sort of strangely elegant and posh the whole time he's doing it. And I just think he's a wonderfully designed character, and I like watching him every time. He's one of the reasons that I love The Lion King, because
And his song.
you know, a film is with good guys and bad guys can be broken if either the hero or the villain is weak. And that's one of the strengths of The Lion King, is that the villain is so great and the heroes are also great. It takes them a while to realize it and come to terms and grow into the hero role, but the villain is just so great. Scar's amazing. He has my favorite villain song in all of the Disney catalog with Be Prepared. And that whole scene with the goose-stepping hyenas is creepy. And all of the lighting in that, the green light, and then they bring in red light, and then at the end they bring in blue light. I think it's fascinating the way they do it. And then there's this weird tectonic action that happens where rocks are springing from the earth, and they're using it as a stage, and they're rising towards the moon, and it's so over the top and dramatic and impressive, and I find that perfect for an uber villain, you know, a criminal mastermind, and I delight in what they chose to do with Scar, because they just let it all hang out, and it works.
I want to go to your, just because I'm looking at your board here, I want to go back to what you said about a weak villain. I completely agree. Scar, fantastic villain. You understand his motivation from the first second that you meet him.
He wants that power.
He wants it. But yeah, looking at your thing, I saw that you had Yokai on there from Big Hero 6.
Yeah. He wants revenge.
He's the worst villain. He's
the worst villain?
He's a bad villain. Like, his motivation isn't clear until you finally find out halfway through, and then you're like, oh, well, just shoot him. I mean, you don't have to do all this big convoluted everything. He's just not a good villain.
I would tend to agree. Cool. If we ever do a Big Hero 6 episode, we should definitely break that down. I think that's high on your list, so we should definitely put that like off to the side and say, you know, we really should break him down, because I agree with some of that, but I disagree with some of that as well.
Well, I'm just saying he's cool. I'm not saying like his like what he does and like his whole, you know, like shooty things, like you know, when he's like yokai, he's actually cool. But I mean, as his motivation, it's like haphazard. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. I mean, I get it, but I mean, he also didn't, you know, force your daughter to go do this either. She signed up for it. But you know, okay. Tangent. Yeah. Stop that tangent. Yeah, I like that. Scar.
Cool.
Really, really good. My number 2 is going to go back to anime.
Wait.
I know, it's crazy.
Wait, what?
I know.
So, wait, okay. You haven't had any Disney yet.
Well, there may not be any Disney.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, keep going.
So,
there's so many Disney cats, but keep going.
I'm going to go Luna and Artemis from Sailor Moon. So I did another
I didn't know there were cats in that show.
Oh, dude. They're the best. In the new bit, Luna, like the 2015 Viz
Wait. Are you picking 2 cats at number 2?
Dude, I picked 6 Thundercats.
You're up to 11 cats at this point in a top 5.
Yeah, you know.
All right.
It happens.
There's no rules, so go ahead.
I make the rules. This is our podcast. But yeah, like Luna and Artemis, they're the best. Like in the 2015 Viz Media dub. Yeah. Yeah, that's them with their kitten.
Okay, they look very anime with giant eyes and white pupils, which is strange.
Dude, that's anime, bro.
White pupils?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I know they do big highlights.
How else do you draw
them? Yeah, not with white pupils.
How else do you draw anime cats in 1992?
Well, I don't, personally.
Exactly, so you can't judge.
I agree with that statement.
See,
So why do you like these cats?
Look at them.
They are kind of adorable.
Yeah.
See, they have black pupils there.
Shut up.
Well, why do you like them? What about them besides they're cute?
Well, they're hilarious. Like,
they're funny.
Yeah, they're funny. Like,
do they wait? I don't know Sailor Moon, so forgive me. Do they speak?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. The 2000. I'm not talking about the old, like the one when we first got it, like in 1996.
Mm-hmm.
That dub, because that's atrocious. But I'm talking about the 2015.
So they weren't funny in that one?
I guess they were funny. It was just really bad. Like I said, this was back in the early 90s when we first started getting a lot of anime, and especially mainstream stuff, and we started doing the English dubs of it. There wasn't any sort of, calling for anime voice actors and actresses. There just wasn't that at all. Because, people from Disney, that like the people that did Little Mermaid, they're not going to go do anime because it's this new thing that's, like a niche market right now. So no one's going to do that. So they have to get these people. But, you get what you pay for, really. And if you don't have a good budget, you're not going to get good voice actors. It's not like today. But yeah, like 2015, they redubbed it. So same animation from the 90s, redubbed it. Luna is voiced by Michelle Ruff, and Artemis is voiced by my spirit animal, Johnny Young Bosch.
Oh yeah, you've mentioned him before on the show.
Anytime I can mention Johnny Young Bosch.
The Bosch.
The Bosch, yes. Absolutely perfect. They're funny together.
Cool.
That's just it. I can't really describe.
All right.
Like we'll watch an episode.
Okay.
I'll have you watch one episode.
With the cat. That features the cat.
Yeah, it's Luna's Crazy Day Out or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great.
Luna Bueller's Day Off.
I hate you so much. What's your two?
My number 2. I'm gonna veer away from Disney a little bit and go to DreamWorks and a cat that I've mentioned previously on the show.
Felix.
No, I've never mentioned Felix, and I probably never will. But I'm going with Tigress from Kung Fu Panda and Kung Fu Panda 2 and Kung Fu Panda 3.
Who's she voiced by? Because we had a problem with this last time.
We did. It's Angelina Jolie, right? Yeah. I love the design of this character. I think DreamWorks has animated all of those characters so sublimely, but Tigress to me is the most beautiful, elegant, perfect animation of a wildcat character in kung fu fighting scenarios, and I can't stop looking at her when I'm watching those movies because every movement is so calculated and perfect and graceful, and I just love it. I love the pattern on her fur, especially on her face. It's so stylized but naturalistic at the same time, and the fur is believable, and her costumes are great. I think she's a kick-A kind of girl, and she's just fun to watch.
Nice.
And I think it's cool because she's kind of the antithesis to Poe, where she's kind of the strict, stick to the kung fu handbook kind of person, where Poe is more of a freestyle, like, I'm just gonna feel it with my tummy and things like that. And I think it's a great juxtaposition there. So, Tigress.
Nice. Do you have any honorable mentions?
Oh, I do have some honorable mentions.
Go for it.
So ones that were close but did not make my list are Raja from Aladdin. I think it's my favorite tiger in the animation world. Mm-hmm. Felicia, by far the most obese cat ever. That's from The Great Mouse Detective. Bagheera from Jungle Book.
Oh, Bagheera.
Who's lovable, but not interesting enough for me to put on this list. And then I had to put Tigger in the running from Winnie the Pooh.
Tigger is a cat.
He's really fun and delightful. I like him a lot, but he didn't quite make the cut for me. What about you? Honorable mentions?
This was actually really hard for me.
Yeah.
The Aristocats, I guess.
Yeah, and again, you were probably including the whole cast.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Cheater.
I was gonna go some old school Cartoon Network and do SWAT Cats Radical Squadron.
What?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's crap. It's crap. Don't worry about it. But yeah, and I guess Figaro.
Okay.
The only good thing to ever come out of Pinocchio.
I
was
wholeheartedly disagree with that statement,
No, because
as
Jiminy
you
Cricket.
know.
That was a bad Jiminy Cricket impression.
It was a terrible Jiminy Cricket impression.
Anyway, so for my number one,
Mhm.
I had to go the best cat in all of the Pride Lands.
Ooh.
One Simba, played
Nice.
by Jonathan Taylor Thomas,
And?
good old JTT, and Ferris Bueller himself, Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
Or
He's
what
good.
was his name in Godzilla?
Who cares?
Nick Tatopoulos.
You know his name from Godzilla?
Dude, that Godzilla movie was actually really good. People
I
crap on it. It's
disagree.
a good movie.
Absolutely 100%.
It wanted to eat fish.
Okay, no. Go back to Lion King. Go.
Okay. But yeah, Simba.
Simba,
I mean,
he's great.
And if he's not on your list, I'm gonna go over this table and like stab you with a pin.
But wait, you like him better than Scar? I think
Yeah.
Scar's a better character.
no.
Like, Simba is obviously the character
Simba's the
whom the
star
story
of the
revolves
movie.
around, but Scar, man, he is a better character.
Scar is great, but I mean Simba, because Simba and Nala get together, and Nala's great.
Yeah, no, they're great. I agree. I mean, I think
Also, by the way, Nala never a princess.
half the cat. Well,
Went straight to queen.
I was thinking about this
She went straight to
because
queen.
we mentioned that in our princess discussion, and I feel like it's this because we all know that historically royalty can only marry royalty, right? So like typically if let's just say there's a prince of England and they're trying to betroth him to some other house
Yeah,
of
but
royalty, they're
they
gonna
never-
pick some other royal person, whether they're a princess or a duchess or something.
Well, that's a
And
duchess.
so Nala would have to be at least royalty. So I think she can enter the discussion. I really do. I consider Nala a princess, an African princess.
I'm
Yep.
done.
No,
Done.
you're not done.
No, cause she's an see, then we'll go on for another 20 minutes about how Nala is not a princess.
Okay.
She can be. So what you're saying is, I just want to go here.
Yeah, go her.
So go her. So Nala is another kingdom's
Not necessarily a kingdom, but she's got to be at least
from another pride.
royalty.
So from another pride. Then.
No, she's in the same pride, obviously.
Well, then there's only one male lion in that pride.
Okay, we're getting way too
I know that's
biological
what I'm,
here.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, from the male lions that we see, there's two. Either Mufasa and either killed Nala's dad or just drove him off somewhere.
Right.
And then he's like, "Oh well, I guess you can stay in the pride."
Okay, so in your line of thinking,
She can just
Simba and Nala is incest.
No, I'm not saying anything like that. She
Okay.
could be Scar's kid, for all I know. Even though Scar had a whole bunch of other lion cubs and stuff, and that went to Lion King 2, Simba's
Yeah,
Pride.
again, those don't
But
exist for me.
Those aren't really good.
Weird.
I mean, it's just one
All
of
I'm
those, like,
saying is I consider her a princess because I think she has to be royalty to marry the future king.
Well, I mean, she can be a duchess or something.
That's close enough to princess for me. Absolutely.
I bet if you went to England,
I'm not in
I'm
England.
not 100% sure that would
If
fly.
any of our listeners so happen to be in merry old England, you can tear us down and tell us we're wrong. But I feel like
Norway also has.
we're
a king
talking
queen,
about
I believe,
fantasy
so.
here. We're talking about a story about lions in the Serengeti and a king and his queen, and I feel like they were both at one point a prince and a princess. That's all I'm saying.
Whatever.
And even if she's a duchess, it's close enough. So wait, have you dropped your number one?
Yeah.
What was it?
Simba.
Oh, Simba. Okay.
Way to pay
Good.
attention.
Jeez, I didn't know if you were
bet-
there yet.
I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, no.
Gavin chose Figaro, the cat. Gavin, what's your number one?
See, I don't like this because this is 2 times in a row where the rug is just pulled out from under me as I drop my number
Did
one.
I get it? Ah!
Of course you got it. Figaro is the cat of cats.
He doesn't do anything.
Sure he does.
What does he do?
He acts like a cat. He's hilarious. I like Figaro. He's, to me...
This wasn't my computer area.
No, that's fine. To me, he's just this wonderfully rendered, totally believable cat character. He's more like a kitten than a cat. You know, he's really small.
He's a kitten.
And I just love that he's kind of this little bit of side element, comic value in the movie. He comes in and out of some scenes and provides just a little bit of texture to the movie, a little bit of novelty, and I just think he's a very cute little cat, and he's so well animated. His movement and the things that he does are so cat-like that I think it really speaks to the genius of the artistry on that movie. And, you know, as it's been said before, that is by far my favorite Disney film, and I love everything about it, and Figaro is no exception.
Okay, I mean...
He's great.
I'm not saying it's not a cute cat. It didn't make my list because it doesn't do anything.
You know what? Cats don't do anything, really.
But we're talking about animated cats. Animated cats should do things.
I mean, he rubbed up against Geppetto's socks and made him fall down.
Oh my goodness.
He kissed Cleo in the end.
Lord
that was
mercy.
Cute. That was super cute. Come on. Who doesn't like the cat goldfish kiss? It's delightful.
It's unchristian.
That's a ridiculous statement.
Okay. Oh, man.
So I win. I win the cat contest because you cheated. You picked like 14 cats on a top 5.
Here's the thing.
And most people haven't heard of half of your cats.
Dude, I've been... Are you kidding me?
I'm not
pretty
kidding
sure
you.
a lot of people have heard of Simba.
Yeah,
pretty sure
that's
a lot
it.
of people have heard of the Thundercats.
The
Pretty
Thundercats,
sure.
but not all of their names, and certainly they're not going to include all of them in a top 5.
Yeah, I bet if we polled the audience, but like, do you name at least 3 Thundercats? And they'd be like, what's the name of the cat in Pinocchio?
Yeah, I think animation people would
And
know
I
Figaro.
don't know who watched Open Season 2. It's not even Open Season. Was that direct to DVD?
No, it was
went
in theaters. Yeah, it did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to show you this cat, and you're gonna think it's hilarious.
I saw a picture of the cat. And
No, I
it
know,
was
but
scary.
you're going to see it in scenes, and you're going to think it's funny.
Okay, sure.
I promise.
Whatever.
I promise. Even though you don't have, a laughing bone.
Well, we do have one more thing that we need to talk about.
Yes,
after
we do.
That dumpster fire that was the top 5.
It was not a dumpster fire. It was
a train
great.
wreck. It was
No,
a train wreck.
my half was great. Go. Keep going.
We have some special news that we're going to be doing for the month of October.
Yes, I'm very excited about this.
We had a brainstorming session, and we've decided that each Monday in October,
And there are 5 of
There are
them,
5.
which is exciting.
and leading up to the last Monday in October, which happens to be Halloween,
Yes.
October 31st, we will be doing 5 Halloween-inspired or themed movies
Yes, it's going to be so great.
each Monday in October.
Yeah, so we're going to bring some ghosts and some monsters and some paranormal stuff. It's going to be great. All animated movies that revolve around, ideas that we think of during Halloween. So it's going to be really fun. It's going to be a whole themed month. I don't know if we could do the same for any other month in the year. I don't feel like there's enough for Christmas even, or any other really holiday month. So if you're ever going to do it, October is the month to do it.
Because, I mean, there's a lot of live-action Christmas movies.
Oh, sure.
And, Die Hard comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact, Jurassic World, totally a Christmas movie.
Really?
Totally a Christmas movie.
What's Christmassy about it? I don't remember.
Okay, we're in snow when we meet the group. They're in snow.
Yeah.
At their house where we see the bird. Then, if you listen in the airport, they're playing Christmas music in the airport.
Wow, I didn't catch that.
Technically, Jurassic World, everybody. Fun fact, Christmas movie.
And good animation too.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
Good
that
job.
bird was not very good.
I don't remember the bird.
The very when we see it's after we see the super I can't remember Indominus Rex
Yeah.
hatch like
Yeah.
the little babies.
Mhm.
You see a foot that like hits the ground,
Yeah.
and then it turns into a bird. That's bad. It's just really bad. It's
Oh.
really, really bad.
I need to rewatch that movie.
Well, you should.
It's a
Well,
good
you
movie.
can rewatch it Christmas time because it's a Christmas movie.
Hey.
But yeah, I don't know of a lot of Christmas
Yeah,
animated
it's weird.
movies.
You would think there would be tons, but there really aren't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to do an entire month of October filled with Halloweeny animated things. We're really excited. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do.
I can't wait.
I can't wait either.
We've already come up with our list of what we're going to do. There's a lot of these that I haven't seen.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm
I
excited
think
to show you these
on
movies.
my list, I've seen one of those movies.
Oh, that's
That's it.
awesome.
So
It's so awesome.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
It's going to be fun.
it's going to be great. So, all right, well, where can everybody find you, Josh Kane?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh L. Kane. What about you, Mr. Gavin?
I can be found at Twitter and Instagram at Gavin Otteson Art.
Okay. Well, for
That
the
about-
animation station, I'm Josh.
I'm Gavin.
Major luck.
Oh, you stole mine!
Thank you for listening to the Animation Station Podcast. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Animation Station Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Animate Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes. And join the conversation at SecretSuperheroClub.com, where you can connect with our podcast friends, Cloud City Cast, Getting Into Comics, and Shaun of the Gathering.